Hey everyone, it's Gus from Askewed Reviews, and it's time for me to review another film that recently came to theaters. The movie that I'm referring to is the 2026 film They Will Kill You, directed and co-written by Kirill Sokolov. So this is one you may or may not have heard of due to the fact that it had a limited release in theaters. But let me tell you more about it to see if this is something that you do want to search out and watch for yourselves. So, very quickly, we are thrown into the lives of a pair of sisters named Asia and Maria Reeves. Now, they are currently on the run from their father or stepfather and are involved in some sort of violent or terrible situation. Asia makes a final attempt to free her and her sister, but unfortunately, the choice that she makes also causes her to have to go to prison. We then jump ahead to 10 years later, where Asia does finally get out and is trying to find her sister. She does end up discovering that Maria has essentially been given to a place called the Virgil, which is a very fancy hotel that Asia is now going to pose as a maid at to hopefully find her sister. We then meet Lily Woodhouse, who runs the hotel. She introduces her to some of the guests and even some of the staff, and finally to her room. That night, though, something strange happens as a group of masked individuals sneak their way into Asia's room. What they weren't expecting is for Asia to be very well prepared for this, as she takes out most of them. Asia then soon discovers that everyone at this hotel is actually part of a cult, and there's much more to them. But will she be able to fight her way through everyone here to finally find her sister? So I ended up thoroughly enjoying this movie. I liked the characters, although I feel like we could have gotten maybe a little bit more development of Asia and her sister, and maybe a little bit more background on some of the other ones. But all in all, they were really fun and entertaining to watch. The action scenes and the special effects that were used were also incredible. I also marveled at times at the cinematography and camera angles that were chosen because they were really perfect and spot on. Another thing that I can't always say, but I'm happy I could with this film, is I really do feel like the trailer did not reveal any of the major things that surprised me with this film, which made me very happy. If I was to try to describe this in a way that someone who doesn't know anything about this movie would either become more interested or have a better idea of what it's like, it felt to me like mixing together Ready or Not with Kill Bill. Both Zazie Beetz and Patricia Arquette, as the characters of Asia Reeves and Lily Woodhouse, did a phenomenal job. Some other familiar faces that actually appear in this movie are Heather Graham and Tom Felton. And a familiar voice is one character, which I won't reveal because I don't want to ruin anything for someone who hasn't seen this, but the actor who voices one of the characters is James Remar. Even with those people being probably the most recognizable names, there are still other faces that you'll recognize from other films. As to what my ranking is for this film, just because this ended up being exactly what I wanted without even knowing that it's what I wanted, I'm going to give this, out of 5, 4 rolling eyeballs. If you've already seen They Will Kill You, let me know what you thought about the film in the comments and whether or not you agree with my ranking. I do also have a question related to the film for everyone out there. If you ended up in this situation, do you feel you are more likely to actually try to escape from this with your family member? Or with what could potentially be promised to you, do you feel like you would actually try to join with the group at the hotel? I hope you enjoyed my review. And if you'd like to continue to check out more Askewed reviews, please make sure to like this video and whatever platform you're watching it on, subscribe or follow, and feel free to check it out on the other platforms as some of them will have more of the video than others.